gentle mistresses, and most distinguished gentlemen. As the official town crier of the city of Alexandria in the Commonwealth of Virginia, it is my great pleasure to announce that our program will begin in 15 minutes. Please take your seats, look over your menus. Servers will begin taking your orders. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to an evening in the heart of Alexandria here at the Carlisle Club. My name is Laurie Blackburn. I'm with McLaughlin Ryder Investments here just a few blocks away. And on behalf of the Board of Directors of Volunteer Alexandria, I'd like to welcome you this evening and thank you for participating in the 17th annual Evening in the Heart of Alexandria. Now, Volunteer Alexandria has a 30-year legacy of caring for the heart of Alexandria by mobilizing helping hands. That's part of our motto and part of our logo. So this program is known as the Heart of Alexandria because volunteers give from the heart, and also because Volunteer Alexandria is in essence a matchmaker, carrying on the metaphor, between the passion in people's hearts and those people who deeply appreciate volunteer services and the people who need the services. So I want to do a couple of thank yous. Thank you to all of you for coming. Our sponsors will be introduced in a little bit, but I also wanted to thank the staff of Volunteer Alexandria for doing the hard work of putting this program together. And that's Donna Walker-James, and I don't know if Susan is here this evening or Rodney Ann, but I did want to thank all of you for your good work. And I also want to thank the woman that I'll be introducing here in a moment, Vola Lawson, who's the chair of this event, and put a committee together, and in her usual long custom of service to Alexandria, continues that tonight. So our event chairwoman tonight, Vola Lawson, is the longest tenured city manager in Alexandria's history. However, her commitment to charitable acts and volunteerism rivals her dedication to civic service. As the founder of the city's breast cancer walk, the namesake of the city's animal shelter, and a leader at the Campagna Center, Vola has repeatedly demonstrated her service to her community and her service to others. She's a member of the Virginia Women's Hall of Fame for very good reason, and we are thrilled to welcome her here to this stage. Please welcome Vola Lawson.
Good evening. I look across this room, and at every table, I see the faces of the people that make this city work and make it so very special. And so I was very honored to be asked to chair this event tonight. The city simply could not do all of the many wonderful things that it does without all of the wonderful volunteers that are so generous with their time. I've been asked first to recognize the wonderful sponsors that make this evening possible. At the heart rate level, the Carlisle Club. Lois Walker. You know what? I'm going to let you applaud each one of them. Usually they say, hold your applause. Lois Walker and our very committed Jen Ferrara for BB&T Bank. All right, at the heart-warming sponsorship level, we have our board member, Allison Cryer DiNardo, who is very sorry that she's unable to join us tonight. Chris Marston. John McInerney of McInerney Associates Realtors. Ann Nguyen of State Farm Insurance. Joe Chimard of Sales Lab, Inc. Jack Taylor and Alexandria Toyota. I'd also like to recognize our elected officials who have told us they're going to be here tonight. But I've also been told that Congressman Jim Moran and Mayor Bill Ewell have other events and they're going to be coming on here, hopefully, later. But I believe Councilman Frank Fannin is here. Frank, would you stand up? I can't see you from up here. Is there anyone that I've overlooked that wants to be introduced? Oh, please, Rob, stand up. Thank you all for being here tonight and making it quite special. Congratulations to the honorees. We'll tell you more about them later in the program. Now for you, our distinguished audience, we are grateful for your support and for all the volunteer work we know that you do to make this community work. We know if you weren't here, you'd be out there helping others this very night. For example, we know that right now, someone is giving their time to teach a child a lesson about responsibility. Another has given up their evening plans to bring joy to senior citizens. There are also those who rehabilitate injured animals by tending to their broken legs, or some who treat the dispossessed by mending broken souls. All of them are Alexandria volunteers, and they are truly deserving of our gratitude. It is through their passion and dedication of those who give their time that we are able to build this city and keep it healthy. Volunteer Alexandria is central to that effort. Please reflect on all the volunteers you know who labor year-round while you enjoy your dinner. And after, it'll just make it go down even better. After dinner, we'll introduce and award our two distinguished recipients tonight. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to begin the awards portion. My job is always to speak over you as you're talking, and once you notice me here, then we eventually get quiet, and then we're going to have our next part of the program. Thank you. I wanted to announce a couple more of our wonderful elected officials who are here with us today. Thank you so much for coming. We have Congressman Jim Moran here, and thank you. Councilwoman Alicia Hughes. Thank you. And Councilwoman Del Pepper. Thank you. And Rob Krupika went to put his kids to bed, but you saw him earlier. Do we have any other elected officials here who I might have overlooked out there? Okay, I'm going to turn the program over to Jane Collins of Get Out and Give Back.
Hi, and good evening. Now we've come to the point in our program where we turn to our wonderful honorees, and we present awards and let them tell you about their passions. And I'm here. I'll be presenting the award to Brooke Curran. Brooke and I met just 2 months ago. But for the last 2 years, people have been coming up to me saying, do you know Brooke Curran? Have you heard about Brooke Curran? Do you know what Brooke Curran does? So I did what any reasonable person would do. I Googled her. And Google came up with this wonderful woman who has committed to running a marathon a month to raise awareness and money for at-risk kids in Alexandria and Arlington. And she's only been doing this since May of 2009, but already she has run 41 marathons. And raised over $80,000. And do you know, in March, she is running a marathon in Antarctica. And Brooke does a lot more than just run a marathon a month for charity. Brooke has her own foundation, the Running Brook Foundation, And it offers matching grants to area nonprofits. And matching grants are great because when you're in part of a matching grant, it kind of draws people in and it encourages everybody to give just a little bit more money, because if you can all put in $10 or just a little bit more money, then the nonprofit that Brooke is sponsoring gets the extra cash incentive that she's offered through her matching grants. So matching grants are a wonderful, wonderful way to get involved. And I'm so glad, Brooke, that you do that, because it just kind of raises things up for all of us. So Brooke encourages all of us to give in the most grassroots, the most easy, and the most painless kind of way. And Brooke is also the best kind of investor. I read once that $1 of investment in the human services sector is equal to $100 in prevention. And by Brooke's investments in Girls on the Run, the Reading Connection, the Community Lodgings, Act for Alexandria, and the Children and Network Centers, she is truly investing for all of us, for the future of Alexandria and Arlington and Greater Washington and even beyond that. And she's done all of this in a way that lets her eat whatever she wants. So on behalf of all of us in Alexandria and the Arlington community, and all of us who will benefit from the encouragement, the support, and the positive role modeling that you have shown to our children, Brooke, it's my honor to present you with Volunteer Alexandria's Joan White Grassroots Volunteer Award.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you, Jane, for the great introduction. That was really nice. Many thanks also to Volunteer Alexandria for recognizing the Running Brook Fund tonight. I'm honored. I'm truly honored. I'd also like to congratulate Nina tonight for her much-deserved award. It's nice to see so many familiar faces out there, so many friends. And while some of you know me, some of you may not. So if you would allow me this opportunity just to share my story with you. So I'm Brooke. I guess you all figured that out. I'm the founder, head runner, and chief fundraiser for the Running Brook Fund. And this is what I do, and I'm fairly certain that I'm the only one in the world doing this. I'm running at least a marathon a month for charity, and in this case, 5 vital Alexandria, Virginia-based charities. I run marathons around the world, one on each of the 7 continents. I've been on 5 of 7 so far. Easter Island, Chile, the Outback in Australia, the Great Wall, China, 2 in Europe, and of course the US, with only Africa and Antarctica to go. And as you all just heard from Jane, I'll be there in March. But I'm also running in the 50 states, with my 30th state just last weekend in Georgia, and the 5 world marathon majors, which are Boston, Chicago, New York, Berlin, and London. I run over a marathon a month and pay all of my own travel expenses and fees to inspire Alexandria with my dedication and my sweat, and to inspire Alexandrians to make their own commitment, to get involved, and to donate either time or money. I remind people to look outside themselves, to dedicate themselves outside of their own immediate world, and to act. Running Brook funds these 5 Alexandria charities: Action Alexandria, Child and Family Network Centers, Community Lodgings, Girls on the Run, and the Reading Connection. But let me back up and start from the beginning. I started running in my late 20s because at that time I had 3 little kids at home under the age of 5, and I had to just get out of the house for some time alone, for some peace and quiet, and just some time to think. I mean, these were the days of the unidentifiable food stains on my shirt and the likelihood that I'd be there, that it would be that way the whole day. And running 2 or 3 miles, maybe 4 days a week, gave me a sense of accomplishment. If I got nothing else done that day, at least I ran. And more importantly, it made me a better mother. Then 9/11 happened, and I could see the smoke rising from the Pentagon from my front steps. And you know that loosely formed life list of things that, well, you mean to do? 9/11 catapulted me into action. My list was and still is packed with things that somehow seem bigger than me, or things that scare me. And that day I decided that I was no longer going to be scared, and I was going to tackle these things one at a time. Running a marathon was on that list, and it seemed like a good place to start. So in late spring of 2002, I registered for the Marine Corps Marathon. And I walked into Pacers Running Store, and I asked them, okay, so how do I do this? How do I run a marathon? And they told me, and it's funny to me now, but my biggest concern then was just to finish without hurting myself. Well, I did finish, and I finished with gas in the tank, and I was so mad at my time that marathoning became all about me getting stronger and getting faster. And over the next few years, I became pretty good, running the Boston Marathon till I got bored, and often placing in my age group in other races. But you know, the ironic thing was, the better I got, the faster I got, the less my running meant to me. And don't get me wrong, I still loved running, but running for the sole purpose of time left me feeling empty and hollow inside. And over these same years, I would drive along the same stretch of Mount Vernon Avenue in Alexandria, and zillions of times I passed people that were clearly struggling in life. And then one day in 2008, I had this thunderbolt, aha type of moment, and I realized, you know what, I can no longer drive by the faces of these children and families and no longer do anything. It was time for me to step up to the plate in life. And I decided right then and there to combine my passion for running and my passion for my community. And it took many months and many miles to kind of figure out exactly what this was going to look like. And the idea with running a marathon on every continent, well, that's where it started, but it kind of seemed too easy. So I added in the 50 states, and that felt somewhat better. But then I figured, well, you know, while I'm at it, I'm just going to run the 5 world marathon majors too. And running one a month was the exclamation point to all of that. But by May of 2009, I was all set. I had partnered with ACT for Alexandria, my 501c3 umbrella organization, and formed a donor-advised fund. And the Running Brook Fund was born. So that's how it started. And now, like Jane said, I've run over 41 marathons in 5 different continents, 30 different states, and run all the 5 world marathon majors. And in preparing these remarks, it gave me the opportunity to think about what I'm most proud of, what my challenges have been, and what I've learned, which is loads. And here's what I've realized, and here's what I'm very proud of. I'm proud of the fact that in a little over 2 years, the Running Brook Fund has raised and granted over $80,000 to well-run Alexandria charities, educating and teaching people how to be self-reliant. These grants have paid preschool teachers' salaries, ensuring that 58 children receive a high-quality bilingual instruction where they learn the lessons and social skills they need to succeed in life. These grants have reopened the doors of an Alexandria Teen Center for an after-school tutoring and a quiet place for homework. These grants have given 1,000 books to over 100 families and provided scholarships for 45 girls so they may live, dream, and run a 5K event. Plus, we're answering numerous calls for action for immediate needs such as milk and healthful after-school snacks for kids living in the carpenter shelter. I'm also proud that I've inspired people to act and led them to engage in the good, to think outside themselves for the betterment of our community. You see, I found that a lot of people do want to help. They do want to give, but they just don't know how or where or to whom. And I'm thankful for all this has given me, the strength and the empathy, the personal growth, and the strong bonds to some really good people many of whom I would have never met. What people don't know about me is that in 2009, a month after establishing the Running Brook Fund, I was diagnosed with asthma and exercise-induced asthma. Overnight, I was unable to run, and I was devastated. It could have taken a huge toll. It could have stopped the Running Brook Fund in its tracks. But thankfully, I had and I have plenty of resources, and I got the help that I needed. I consider what it would be like to have no access to health care, or more importantly, no access to a strong support system. And then I think of our at-risk neighbors, many of whom have no resources and no support system at all. This notion only strengthened my resolve to make that difference. And while we all contemplate our place in the world, I would love for you to be part of my world. As a volunteer, or maybe as a donor, or even as a sponsor, or someone who comes to my always fun events. And in closing, it's with incredible gratitude that I thank again Volunteer Alexandria for this recognition. I know that there must have been many equally qualified and deserving recipients. I'd also like to thank my husband, Chris, and my family for going along with my audacious plan, and my friends who are forever helping me along the way. And I'd also like to recognize my sponsors, many of whom are in the audience tonight. We have Pacers Events, McLaughlin Ryder Investments, TJ Fannin and Sons, ASAP Printing, Mark G. Anderson Consultants, Bonnet Builders, McNair Travel, McGinn Investments, and Woodrow Wilson Bridge Half Marathon. I know I wouldn't be here today without them. So good night, and thank you again.
Good evening, everyone. I think I first met Nina about 3 years ago when she was doing some photography for the Mayor's Unity Breakfast. I remember seeing her just sitting on the side, very quiet, as most photographers are. I came up to her because I was part of the organizing committee and talked to her, and said, hey, why don't you come have a seat, enjoy yourself for a little bit. But she was just very quiet, very humble, very workmanlike. She was like, no, I need to be over here enjoying myself and doing what I do. And it's for what she does that we're recognizing her tonight. Nina's passion is photography, and after many years of serving in the city, in a variety of ways, she turned her attention to creating the photojournalism project that is Living Legends. Living Legends creates an enduring artistic record of people whose vision and dedication make a positive, tangible effect to the quality of life in Alexandria. Now, most of you are familiar with the Living Legends project, which has now been going on long enough to name many of our friends in the city as legends, many of the people in this room. These are the types of people who don't seek recognition for their good works and are actually very shy about being named a legend. Therefore, I won't point them out tonight, but I want you to know that at each and every table, or almost every table, as I'm told, there is seated with you one or more Alexandria Living Legends. Now, have you guessed who the living legend is at your table? Oh, well, good for you. As Nina told me while we were sitting together, it's not too late to nominate a living legend for this year. The deadline is November 15th, so it is coming up fast. And you can see her, or she said there's a table outside where you can get details on how to nominate somebody for that process. So I'm proud to present the 2011 Marion Van Landingham Lifetime Service Award to Nina Tessara.
such a good job, maybe I could just sit down now and go back to the camera. Yes, it is true. I am much happier behind a camera than behind a microphone. I do really appreciate this honor from Volunteer Alexandria. You guys did a good job, and I appreciate it. I know what kind of work it is to put this together. Thank you very much. Lifetime Service Award. It is kind of daunting to think of a Lifetime Service Award. I thought, is this it? You know, do I put my feet up now and, and stop? I don't think so. I was interviewed recently, and I told the interviewer, that's not what I have in mind. When I leave this world, I want to be all used up. I want to be like the tube of paint that I had as a young art student, my favorite tube of paint when I couldn't afford to buy another one, and I would squeeze it and squeeze it and squeeze it until the last drop was out. That's what I want for myself. Receiving this award, though, this lifetime service, did make me think about the lifetime and how I got here. I studied painting at the High School of Music and Art in New York City. And in my senior year, I saw an exhibit at the Museum of Modern Art. It was called The Family of Man, and it was curated by Edward Steichen. And in the catalog, in his prologue in the catalog, he said that the purpose of the exhibit was to be a mirror, to show that we are one family of man. I think as I looked at those photographs of people in all different countries celebrating weddings, having dinners together, having end-of-life services together, I realized that that was what I wanted to do. I still believe that we are one family of men, that the differences between us are very, very small compared to the things that bind us together, that we are in the end one family of time and space on a very fragile little blue planet. That notion has informed my photography, and it is the basis for Living Legends of Alexandria. So how did I get to be from that high school student to here? I was a single mom, and I thought I needed a degree to support myself and my kids. So I enrolled at Northern Virginia Community College while I was working full-time. And I took a class a quarter at night. And I did really well until I took economics. I needed a math class, and I thought economics would be easy, and it wasn't for me. So to reward myself for passing that class, I took a photography class. Why photography? Well, I had worked for the Air Force in their official Air Force library, so I knew a little bit about photography, and I thought it would be something that would be fun to do. And in the darkroom, one of my darkroom companions told me that she thought that the Port Packet was short a photographer. So I gathered up all my courage, and I went to see the editor, who was Jim Goldsmith, a legend in his time. And I brought him my portfolio of photographs. They were portraits of plants that I took at the Botanical Gardens. And Jim looked through his Coke bottle thick glasses, and he said, you know, these are really nice pictures. Can you photograph anything that moves more quickly than a plant growing? He reached into his bottom desk drawer and he took out 2 rolls of film, Tri-X, because we shot film, black and white. He said, let me see what you can do. The next week, a photograph of a crowd shot at Market Square for the city's birthday appeared on the front page of the packet, and I was hooked. I wanted to become a photographer. I quit my job. that supported me and the kids, and I said, I'm going to do photography. Well, working for the paper put me in touch with all the people that I would need to know to launch that career. So fast forward to Living Legends. As you've heard, it's an ongoing project to identify and honor and tell the stories of the people who are our current history makers. The idea came to me when within a couple of weeks, the city came to me and the Gazette packet came to me looking for pictures of people who had died. They thought they would be in the Tessera archives, and they weren't. And I thought, well, this is something that can be changed. We can take these pictures while people are still alive. Recently, I came across a letter that I wrote to Jerry Vernon, the publisher of the Gazette. It was just over 5 years ago. It was in September of 2006. And I said, Jerry, I have this germ of an idea. How about if the Gazette published a feature story a month about somebody who was doing something special in Alexandria? The reason we've been selecting 12 legends a year is because we were doing one a month. It made a lot of sense. I said that I wanted to include many areas: arts, business, community leaders, religious leaders, volunteers, community activists. I'm happy to stand here and tell you that this is being done. The features are published regularly in the Gazette packet, and we have now 3 additional media sponsors: the Alexandria Times, Local Kicks, and just recently, the Zebra. I suggested that the photographs could be exhibited in various places. I said the Beatley Library, the Durant Center, City Hall. It's being done. We also have those photographs now in the Market Square lobby of City Hall. We've exhibited at the Tyler Gallery at Northern Virginia Community College, at the Delray Artisans Gallery, St. Elmo's Coffee Pub, and right now the photographs are up at Prudential Penn Fed on North Washington Street. I suggested having a reception where the legends could be introduced to the community. There is now a Meet the Legend reception annually. Last year, over 270 people came to that reception. Mark on your calendars March 22nd of 2012 for the next reception. It will be again at the Patent and Trademark Office. The Gazette packet was an early financial sponsor and the founding media sponsor. It continues to serve as a media sponsor. The Rotary Club of Alexandria initially stepped in the role of administrative sponsor and continues now as a financial sponsor. Living Legends would not have gotten off the ground without the help of the Gazette packet and the Rotary Club of Alexandria, and I thank you. We're now a nonprofit on our own. We have a really impressive and hardworking board of directors. I know a few of the folks are here today. Rose Gentile is our president, Jane Hess, who you've met a few minutes ago, Steve Wharton, and Joe Schumard was supposed to be here, but there was an illness in the family, and I don't think he made it. The goal of Living Legends from the beginning, and continues now, is to be an artistic resource that will tell the stories and inspire others. We're now in our 5th year. We've told the stories of 124 extraordinary people. The catalogs are available at the Alexandria Library. They've been accessioned by the Library of Virginia in Richmond, and they're now in the U.S. Library of Congress. We inaugurated a new program called Family Legends of Alexandria. We've just finished the first workshop. The next one is waiting in the wings. We've had early conversations about a new possible category called Legends in the Making. You'll be hearing more about that. We've also just started a program where the legend portraits will be shown at performing arts events, so that we'll be collaborating with performing arts organizations. Even my board doesn't know this yet. But in February at the Alexandria Symphony concert, we'll be showing the legend portraits. Lots of work in these 5 years. So those of us who volunteer know that we do not work alone. When we volunteer not only ourselves, but our family, our friends, and our business associates. They need to pick up where we drop balls. I am profoundly grateful to my children, my 4 beautiful children, and for my friends. My friends have been drafted into service to do things like write the legend stories, to edit the catalog, and for some mundane things like tending bar and bussing tables. And one friend came tonight to do my makeup because I got a C- in dressing like a girl. So yeah, there's still time to nominate a legend for 2012. There are some cards out on the hall. There is always time for you to give your time and your treasure to living legends. And in closing, the words that inspired me from when I was a young person and still continue to inspire me is the serenity prayer. It's like, God, give me the serenity to endure what must be endured, and the courage to change what must be changed, and the wisdom to know the difference. In this room, there are people who are working really hard to change what must be changed, and I am really, really glad to be working with you. So thank you again. It's a huge honor. I really appreciate being here with you.
Thank you so much, Nina and Brooke, for being here with your supporters and your families and everybody else here for supporting them. I'd like to quickly thank all our volunteers, not by name, but you wouldn't believe, how many of you out there have been volunteering at Volunteer Alexandria. There's a big steering committee for this event. I really appreciate all you've done and other volunteers we recruited for this event. Even the town crier is a volunteer, and we so appreciate his work tonight. I'd like to especially thank Marion Van Landingham, who the Lifetime Service Award is named after. Of course, Marion was the founder of Volunteer Alexandria, so we have a special thank you for that, to start it all. And thank you all for a tremendous evening, for recognizing these 2 outstanding women. And while tonight is certainly a celebration of their work, let them serve as an inspiration in many ways. It's not a coda, but a kickoff as you go back home, go to work tomorrow, or take tomorrow off, have a long weekend. Let their example serve as notice that personal investment in volunteerism can shape cities and lives, and Volunteer Alexandria, we're poised to help you make that happen. Thank you for coming tonight.